My name is Jeff Toretsky and I'm a pediatric oncologist at Georgetown University. I first got involved in pediatric research when I was an undergraduate at the University of Wisconsin. I would go to the clinics, I learned about pediatric oncology there, and sadly, one of the first patients that I ever knew that died of childhood cancer died of Ewing sarcoma. He was a freshman and I was a junior. We'd gotten to know each other a bit. I think ever since then, pediatric oncology was on my horizon, and here I am today. Pediatric oncology research is critical to me as a pediatric oncologist because it provides hope. It provides hope to the families I take care of, but it also provides hope to me. The fact that I will leave the bedside of somebody who we unfortunately don't have the medicines for at this time, but need to find medicines for, I come back to the lab and I work with my team, and we're trying to make progress in that direct space. We're trying to find the next new drug. And that to me provides hope, and that's critical as a clinician. Ewing sarcoma is a cancer that primarily affects adolescents and young adults, although it can really affect anybody of any age. We have drugs that are reasonably effective if you have localized Ewing sarcoma, but for those patients who the drugs don't work for and they recur, they have a very low chance of survival. So the goal in Ewing sarcoma is to not only make a better drug that'll affect and cure more patients, but to provide less side effects for the patients we're currently being able to cure. So one of our major projects in the lab that we've been working on really since around the year 2000 was to create a direct drug that would turn off the key cancer-driving gene in Ewing sarcoma. And that project has bared some wonderful fruit. In fact, we've learned more about Ewing sarcoma from doing that work, but more importantly, we've also got a drug in the clinic. So we were able to create the first drug that is being used to treat Ewing sarcoma directly through that target. Well, the Hyundai Hope on Wheels support is critical for us to be able to explore this space. Because it's a multidisciplinary space and because it's been very difficult to get NIH review panels to have 3 people love our work to the point of getting it less than 10 percentile in a scoring pile, it's been absolutely challenging to get that NIH funding. Hyundai Hope on Wheels has provided us with seed funds to really get this project off the ground, to really start to collect the kind of data that then could be used for bigger studies down the road. The first Hyundai Hope on Wheels grant we received was about 4 years ago, and that was to understand how this drug we made affected the metastasis, how it affected the ability of Ewing sarcoma cells to spread. And that grant wrapped up a couple years ago, and the current grant we've received is really fantastic because it's going to let us explore some really novel areas of how EWS fly interacts with other proteins. So I get up in the morning with a couple of goals. When I head to the clinic, my goal is to provide the absolute state-of-the-art best care in the most compassionate way that I can for my patients. When I leave the clinic and walk over to the lab, I'm thrilled by the kind of discovery that we can make. The fact that I get to participate in discovering new knowledge, and the fact that some of the things that we've created already are having an impact in the clinic, providing patients hope. Even those patients who are getting our drug in phase 1 studies get it in part because it provides them hope. And I think that one of the most important things families can know is that there's a lot of hope with the current drugs, but I think that with future discoveries, we can create even a better panel of drugs that will not only make it easier and less dangerous to cure the patients we have, but to provide hope for those patients who even today, when the cancer returns, that hope starts to diminish. And as much as I try to keep people's hope going all the way through whatever they're experiencing as cancer patients, at some point they start to realize that there won't be a tomorrow. And that hope that we provide is critical to have this research support in order to get to that tomorrow for those patients who aren't otherwise going to get there today. My hope, and I hope it's the same as the hope for Hyundai because I think it is to compare how we're doing with cancer to how we did with ear infections in the early 20th century. You know, before penicillin, ear infections killed people. Patients didn't have any options. And now we're able to treat these infections, and we treat them as outpatients, and the cure rate is virtually 100%. there's no reason that we don't have to hope that the same can be true of childhood cancer. So that in my lifetime or in the generation of pediatric oncologists that come after me, patients who develop childhood cancer would come in and the doctor would say, yes, your child has leukemia, but we're going to cure them, and they're not going to have to go in the hospital for periods of time. They're not going to have to lose their hair. They're not going to have to become sick, but they're going to get to keep their life going, and they're going to have their life continue while they're treated, and that's really one of the keys that we'd like to hope for. My name is Jeff Toretsky, and I'm a pediatric oncologist at Georgetown University. And my handprint tells my story.